We're in beautiful Hoboken, New Jersey. I know zero about Hoboken, New Jersey, but I'm with someone who does. John Franklin, comedian, Netflix personality from The Circle, all around cool guy. We're gonna talk to John Franklin. Thank you, John, by the way.
Dude, no worries.
Because Hoboken is so close to New York City.
Uh-huh.
But I know nothing about it. I've only been here this is my third time.
Cool.
And I lived in New York for 20 years.
No worries.
And you're from here.
I'm from Caldwell, which is up north, Sopranos country is what we like to call
Woo!
it. And then lived in Hoboken for the last 2 years. I'm a Hoboken junkie. I love it here. So
I hear there's a lot of junkies in Hoboken.
A lot of junkies. All of us are like, we all know a guy who knows a guy who knows a guy.
Hey.
But we do really love it here, and I'm happy to be taking you around. Dude.
Now, what's the deal with the parking cone here with Christmas lights around it? Is that traditional?
From what I
Hoboken?
understand, this is just a traffic cone.
Oh, okay.
Just based on the general surroundings.
Wasn't sure if that was the thing.
But no, the thing that's crazy is you will just see these garages pop up.
Yeah.
Because Hoboken wasn't really a driving city. It was a lot of people came in working class when it first started. So
sure.
There wasn't really meant for people to park their cars.
Okay.
So garages just started popping up and they would just dig the curb in.
Pretty much you weren't meant to stay here.
No,
it was just a place to drive through then get out real quick? Is that what you're saying?
No, you were supposed to stay and work. So you would take the train into work, you would go work in factories, things like that. So you end up with a town that really was built up for sustainable living but just not where they ever thought people would really be driving in and out. Cars weren't really the concern.
I see.
But now here we are, 100 years later, and we're still kicking it.
We're still doing it. It's a beautiful day.
It is. It's gorgeous.
I took the PATH train here.
Yeah, so that's another cool thing about Hoboken is it is really accessible. I love it. Being a comedian, getting to go in and out of the city is super easy.
Yeah.
We've done a few shows. And even getting out to Brooklyn is only 50 minutes.
Oh, that's not bad.
No.
Yeah, Brooklyn, that's the same for me because I'm on the Upper East Side. Mm-hmm. So going into Brooklyn, I have to, it takes about the same amount of time.
Yeah.
Depending.
Cool. But no, dude, I do love being from New Jersey. I love getting to walk around here, still be ingrained in the culture a little bit.
Yeah,
that's cool.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to hear a little bit about your Netflix experience because you're in this small group of people who have starred in their own Netflix reality show.
Yeah.
So first of all, tell me what you were doing in your life right before the Netflix show, and then I want to find out how you even got on this show.
Yeah, for sure. So I was in between jobs. The pandemic had just hit. And I got canned.
It was during the pandemic.
Yeah, so I applied for the show. The show had come out during the pandemic, the first season.
Oh, and it's called The Circle.
The Circle, yeah.
And what's the premise?
So the premise is that there's a bunch of people who go into an apartment building.
Okay.
And you live in your own apartment, right?
Yeah.
That was very intimate contact.
Yeah,
right there.
I like that. Well, my manager watched one of these. He's like, you don't look at the person enough. So now I'm
so you're very conscious.
I'm very conscious
you're
about
holding
it.
The thing up.
Yeah.
Either way. But so we end up in this apartment building.
Sorry. It's too much, Rory. It's too much. Too much contact.
No worries. But we end up in this apartment building, right? It's you and 10 other people. Mm-hmm. And you're in a room by yourself.
Okay.
None of the people know who's actually in it. It could be.
So you're
be
sequestered in a room by yourself,
right?
And you don't talk to anyone else.
No, you only have contact over a social media platform called The Circle.
Okay.
And it's DMing. There's no voice. There's nothing like that. And you could either be yourself.
Should we go?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Or pretend to be somebody else in Catfish. And your job is to become the most trusted person in the game.
Uh-huh.
And when that happens, you win the money.
And what are there games you play throughout the thing?
Yeah. So you play different things so people can try to get exposed. So I catfished, and so the reason why a lot of people remember me and I was kind of liked on the show is I pretended to be my mom.
Okay, wait, before we get there, because I do want to talk about there. So you were in between jobs.
Yes.
And then how did you find out about the show needing you? How did
that's a good
casting?
Question. So I wasn't really doing much. I had maybe done about 5 months of stand-up before the pandemic hit. So nobody knew me as a comedian or anything like that. That wasn't nobody knew who I was, I would say.
No one's still, I'm kidding.
Yeah, exactly. Nobody has any idea who I am at all.
No, you're doing great, man. You are. This guy's social game is incredible. Super
thanks,
funny.
Dude. Thanks, man.
Of course, it's true.
That's so cool. But no, so anyway, I come home. I was living in Boston at the time. Pandemic happens.
What were you doing in Boston?
I was running social media for a college called Wentworth Institute of Technology. So that's where I get the social media strategy side from.
Okay.
But so I come home and I'm living at home. My sister's in her senior year of college, but she gets sent home before the end of it because they're going all online.
Yeah.
And this show comes out called The Circle, and we start watching it, and it was like right up my alley. My sister was like, "You gotta like see how you."
So you were a fan of the show.
Yeah, huge fan. And like my sister was like, "You got to apply and see if you can make it on the show." And I'm like, "Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I've never been a reality TV like guy, but I apply and I never think about it ever again." So I apply for the show, and like months go by. I end up getting a different job. And
what was the different job?
I help run social media for BetMGM, which I still do now,
okay, cool.
which is a cool like hustle because it's just I'm making videos for myself and for them now.
That's cool.
But at the time I get this job, I forget that I even applied for the show, and that like the application I did was like probably around April of 2020, maybe like at the latest like August of 2020 I applied. In May of 2021, I get a phone call.
Yeah.
Like, we love your audition. We want you to keep auditioning for the show. I was like, I don't even know what you're talking about. So I keep auditioning, and it was like 8 auditions. And 8 auditions go by, and I'm thinking like, this will be fine. Maybe I'll make it on the show. Maybe I won't.
Yeah.
And then I don't know. Like, they called me the 2 weeks before the show filmed. They're like, "You're going out to England. You're filming."
It was in England?
Yeah, like it was in Manchester.
Wow.
Because the show's originally based in England. Like they're the first iteration of the show was an English television series, and then Netflix bought it.
Okay.
And Netflix decided to keep the building and just send people out there because I assume it's cheaper.
Sure.
And they sent me out, and I filmed, and like the second to last audition I had, they were like, "Yeah, I was like crushing the auditions as myself."
What would they make you do for an audition like
Yeah,
this?
so like the audition was like the initial ones were just like personality, like, "What's up, I'm John, like I do this and that, I'm from Hoboken," like different things like that. But then they have like 2 psychology interviews to make sure that you're like
a sane individual?
Yeah, and you're gonna be in a room by yourself
pass those?
for like a month.
Wait, you were in the room by yourself for 1 month?
A month, yeah. You're there just like chilling alone.
Did you have internet?
No phone, no nothing.
What?
Yeah.
What did you do?
You play the game.
All right, well, I guess, okay, we'll talk about it.
Yeah,
All right.
we'll talk about it in a little bit.
Wow.
But so you're in the room by yourself, and then all of a sudden, like, so let me get back to the interview process. So
please.
they do the 2 psychology interviews to make sure like they think you can handle being in a room by yourself for like, a couple weeks.
Yeah.
And then the last 2 you actually pretend to play the game.
Wow.
So you do that with the producers of the show. So they play other characters and you play the one that they want you to play.
And was this like in a room where you
Zoom, because they're all British. And they were like, I remember my second to last audition, I was like crushing the auditions. Like I felt super good. Like I was telling Chris, like I think I'm actually gonna make it on this show.
Wow.
And he was like, "No way!" Like, you know, like it feels like a pipe dream.
Yeah.
And the second to last audition, they were like, "We don't actually want you to play yourself anymore," because I was originally gonna play myself.
Okay.
Like, we want you to catfish.
Okay.
And I was like, "Oh, I never even thought about catfishing."
Because you thought you were gonna just be yourself the whole time?
Yeah. And then they were like, "Well, you're gonna catfish. Like you have to choose a catfish." So I was like, "I'll pretend to be my mom."
Okay.
They just said it like sort of like that, and the rest is history. Then
So did they tell you if you want to be in the show, you have to catfish?
Basically, like sort of like a shakedown way. It was like, well, if you really want a chance. Like we have too many people playing themselves. I also think like the producer who like produced my room, so the guy who I talk to like every day. One day, like after filming, like months later, like he had come to New York and we had went out together and just like caught up, and we got like pretty bombed. So I gave myself like the opportunity to ask the questions about the show that like you don't really get answers to.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know, you helped me like you were part of my audition process. Like, when did they choose that I was going to be a catfish? Like, why did they do that? Because I thought I was auditioning really well.
Yeah.
And with like he basically was just like, we just thought you were going to run the game if you were going to go right.
Oh, okay.
We just basically thought you were going to run the game if you played yourself. Like, you would have been too good at it.
Wow.
So I was like, all right, good enough for me. Like, I'll take that. And I ended up doing really well.
But that kind of hindered you from winning, though, right?
It did. But like, I do think like, if you look back at like our season of the show, and then you look back at like, and you look presently at like, who's got stuff going on.
Yeah.
I think like I'm the one who's probably leveraged it the most.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like
okay.
I'd say pretty far and away. But that's just because like that's the nature of like you and I have talked about this, like the game of social media with comedy and like like having done comedy for a few years before doing the show. It wasn't like I like left a reality show and decided I was a comedian.
Right.
Like I had like some chops to back it up.
Sure.
So like that like kind of hand in hand like allowed me to really keep pushing my career along and like when the show finished airing, I think collectively across like Instagram and TikTok, I had like 40,000 followers on Instagram and about 25,000 on TikTok.
Wow.
And like year to date, like now, I have 110,000 on TikTok and like 80,000 on Instagram.
Wow, that's great.
So like, it's one of those things where it's like it's hard to quantify when you're doing it. You don't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
But then like it comes to an end, you're like, well, the reality show ended. There's no season 2 for John right now.
Right.
So like, I gotta try to figure out what to do with it.
Wow.
And that's kind of how it kind of came to fruition. It's how we met.
Yeah, that is how we met. We met at a show, right? Or no,
on Instagram.
Online.
I DM'd you because I was a fan of your comedy before knowing you.
Woo!
Yeah, so like that was like really cool. One of those things where like you posted a video and I was like, I'm just gonna send him a message and be like, hey man, big fan.
Oh yeah,
just
that was so
see
nice.
What happened. And that's what happened. So
that's awesome.
That was like,
that's crazy.
Kind of how it all got connected.
Now what would be like, so you go out to England, you fly out to England, and you don't meet anyone else who's on the show, right?
Right.
And then like, what's a normal day like for you when you're filming the show?
Oh, a normal day. So I went in day 1.
Yeah.
And day 1 was like, you walk in, you open the door to your room, and you're on a TV show now. Like nobody prepares you for it. They're like, there's 4 people who go into the show from the very beginning, like from the jump.
Okay.
And I was one of those 4.
Wow.
And you go in, swing the door open, and you are being filmed 24/7. We're gonna go left here at the corner. But you know, you go in and we're filming, and it was just like they film everything in your day-to-day life. Like the way that I equate it to people or like explain it is, when I came home, like they want you to verbalize everything. Like they're like, if you don't talk, you won't make it on TV because you're in the room by yourself. Like you're the character, like you're the main character.
You gotta narrate what you're doing.
Exactly.
Kind of thing. Got it.
So like every day you're like, oh, gotta wake up, gotta get to breakfast, gotta make an omelet, like things like that. And I remember like the first day I came home, I'm in our living room and I'm like, oh, time to make lunch. Chris was like, who are you talking to?
That's so funny.
And I'm like, I don't know, dude. So like that's like kind of the confusing part.
Yeah.
But yeah, the regular day of filming is get up, you film a little bit of like your intro and you film a little bit of like your we're gonna go left in that one.
Okay.
You film a little bit of your intro of your morning, they do like a circle chat. And then you just kind of go about your day until they say like, hey, just a heads up, something's about to happen. Like you're probably gonna have to like be ready to film.
Wow.
So I was like, okay, yeah, you got it. Like I'll film. And then that's kind of like the everyday, unless like there's a big twist in the game.
That's wild.
But yeah, it was crazy. It was definitely like a crazy.
So you wake up,
time.
you announce to the camera, I'm making breakfast.
Yeah, like I'm awake, and you're filmed 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, like in the bathroom.
Are the cameras moving? You can see it moving.
Yeah, they're like in the corners of the room, sort of like
wow.
like a hidden camera show type of thing.
Wow.
Like there's 3 cameras in the bathroom, which always freaked me out. And like my one story about that was like day 1, I went in early. I make like food and whatever, and after the day ends, like they put you to bed and they shut the lights off. You don't have an option whether or not like they're gonna.
Oh, the lights in your room just go off. At a certain time.
Yeah, but the cameras continue rolling because like they want to make like they have to make sure like nothing happens to you.
Sure. Yeah.
Like, and the next morning I woke up and I'm like, all right, I want to take a shower, and they turn the cameras away. And you take your clothes off, you get in the shower, and then I hear the cameras moving. And I look, and I see the cameras pointed at my face.
What?
And I'm like, are you guys filming me? And they were just your head. And I was like, well,
wait. So when you ask them, are you guys filming me? And they say just your head, are they like talking through an intercom?
Yeah, there's a speaker. They call it like your voice of God, like your vibe.
Yeah.
So that's like the
okay.
The thing that was always, and I looked down at like the glass for the shower, and it was fogged from here down, but it was clear from here up.
Oh, so they knew what they were doing.
They were filming.
It wasn't their first season.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
So the filming's it's a weird thing to get used to, and then it's an even harder thing to like transition back to real life when you get back.
Well, I bet. Okay, but hold on.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're in this hotel room pretty much, right? You got a bed. Like, describe the room.
Yeah, so you go in, there's a living room and kitchen area. Okay. Like a regular apartment, like a 1-bedroom apartment.
Nice.
I'm not even gonna say in New York, because if you bought this apartment in New York, you're a millionaire. But it's like, because like it's, you know what I mean? Like it's a medium-sized apartment, but in New York, it's just like crazy expensive. But it's like a couch and a TV with the game on it, a table for like eating, and a kitchen area that comes with like stovetop, oven, fridge, sink. Okay. And then there's a bathroom with a shower and a tub. and like a sink top.
Yeah.
And a mirror, and then a bedroom with just a full-size bed and some dressers.
Wow.
And that's really it. But
And
mine
then,
was
like,
decorated to be my mom, which was really weird.
That is weird.
Yeah, it was like pink with flowers.
So you're texting, you're playing the game.
Yeah.
You're texting people, you're doing challenges.
Yes.
And then, like, is that all day, every day?
Yeah.
12 hours a day, 8 hours a day?
It depends on what's going on that day. Like, there was one day where like this big twist happened in the game, and one of the guys in the game like had to make this huge decision, and the whole circle platform crashed. Like, it's a real platform while you're there, like that you really text on and stuff.
It's like an app on your phone?
Not on your phone. So like the way
They
it works,
give you your own phone?
No, they type for you. It's text to speech.
Ah.
And it's like, it's on your TVs and stuff, but it's really, it's like a computer program, and it crashed like that day.
On purpose, do you think, or no?
I don't think so, because like they were freaking out. Like, my producers, you could tell, were like, we're so sorry, like this should not happen. Like, they were freaking out, and it took like an extra, I'd say like 3 or 4 hours. So like, you see a TV show on Netflix, like I think the longest one of our episodes ever was about 40 to 45 minutes, but it was like, I think it was that episode.
Okay.
But like the actual genuine filming took about like 14 hours.
Yikes.
I know there was one day, one episode where same night where I got pretty bombed with my daytime producer in New York, I asked him like, what was the longest day of filming that we ever did?
Yeah.
And they were like, you know, to be honest, you got up at 7 a.m. and we started filming, and you went to bed at 4:30 in the morning the following day.
Wow.
But like you don't have any clocks, you don't have any.
You don't even know the time?
No concept of time.
That's incredible.
Your windows are like grayed.
Oh, man.
So like you can't really tell like what time of day it is, because they just want you to be like in the game.
Did that mess with you?
Yeah, definitely.
And how long, so what would you do if you weren't, say you're not playing the game?
Yeah.
Say you're like getting ready for bed.
Okay.
Like, what do you read a book? Like, what do you do to wind down?
There's no wind down time, because your wind down time is like, what, another great day in the circle, can't wait for tomorrow, good night. And then the producer's like, all right, see ya, and they just shut all the lights off in your apartment.
That's
like day one.
incredible.
I was like, do I have time? Like, I had a book there, and my friends will tell you, like, I don't read.
Yeah.
But they warned you, let's like sneak through right here.
Sure.
They warned me like, hey, like you can't watch TV while you're here because we don't like really allow it. But like, you can like read books and stuff. Let's go right.
This is great. So we're on this like walkway now.
Yeah, this is like one of my favorite spots in Hoboken.
Cool. You can see this New York City down over here behind me.
Yeah, it's the best.
It's incredible.
I love to take this walk.
I would love to run down here sometime.
A lot of people do. Like, I love to come down here.
tell.
Like, when I write, I always come down.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, just like clear the head a little bit.
Oh, sure.
But like, I love this park area. Like, they call it like a Hoboken beach.
Oh, that's
like
cool.
This pier. So we'll walk down that way.
Oh, awesome.
We'll show
I love
you that.
it. That's great.
But yeah, so like,
Hoboken's not so bad.
No, it's great. I love it. Like, there's no bad part about it.
World famous ice cream. We might have to go to that food truck after.
We can check it out. They got a Rita's over here too. That's pretty good.
What is it?
Rita's? You never had Rita's ice?
This is so funny because I did one of these with Kaylin Palufo. And we went to Ralph's and they have Italian ice.
Yeah.
But I don't know what Rita's is.
Oh, Rita's is more of a chain. Ralph's is a little bit of a chain, but like. Yeah, I know Ralph's. Ralph's is like the Italian water ice. This is just like Rita's Italian ice. But I'll show you that. Yeah,
I'd love to see it.
But anyway, the filming the show. Going to bed. Yeah, so like, I was like, do I have time to read a book? And they were like, nope. And they shut my lights off. And I was like, this is like, we are not in real life anymore. Like, I'm filming a TV show.
You must have gotten like paid a little bit to do it, right?
Yeah. You get paid. So like, if you win the money, obviously, like.
What was the grand prize?
$150,000.
For a month?
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I mean, it's worse than I tell you that like when you don't win, like some of us.
Yeah.
You only get 2 halves of like $5,000 that's heavily taxed.
Right.
And the first half of the $5,000 comes on the last day of filming. And then the last half of the $5,000 comes on the last day of the show airing.
Wow.
So like without taxes I got $2,500 that day I got home in October.
Yeah.
And then I got another $2,500 June 5th, 2022.
Wow. So the only way to really like make this work for you is to do what you did and just like, promote, use your socials.
Yeah, you need to do like your next thing.
Yeah.
Because like if you get locked in being like the reality TV show person, the next thing you can do if you don't leverage it the right way is more reality
Leverage
TV.
it. That was the word I was looking for. Yeah. You gotta leverage it. That's right.
You gotta leverage it. That's the next merch. Leverage it.
Leverage it, baby. That's incredible. So, how many days were you gone for then? Were you in this room?
I was in the room for I was in the room for 18 days. Whew. And then you're there for 30 days total. It was September 13th to October 13th.
Okay.
But that first, like, you have to remember, this is like 2021 when we're filming. So
yeah.
Like, and we're in England, so like the first the first week was like quarantining.
Oh.
So like they had somebody who would, like, on the wellness team who would come and check on you just to be like, hey, like, do you need anything? Do you need food? What's up? Like, and then the other stuff that they would check out is like, all right, so like, how do you feel mentally? Are you feeling all right? And then that next week, like, the game starts and it is like cutthroat competitive.
Wow.
So you get really into it really quick, and that's really how it starts. And then like you just get like, I mean, I'm sure you get it, like you have a competitive edge to you, I assume. But
sure.
Like, when you get, like, I grew up playing sports and stuff, and you get that competitiveness back into you, you're like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I missed stuff like this. Yeah. And they really did sort of screw me, like, having to make me pretend to be my mom, because I felt like I couldn't win that way.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, if you go, like, look up anything about the show, ever, like, if you look up, like, best catfishes, things like that, I'm always ranked in, like, the top 4 or 3.
That's pretty cool.
Because, like, and the top 2, who always are 1 and 2, won the show.
Ah.
But they one catfished as her husband.
Okay.
And the other catfished as like a hot young woman.
Oh, okay.
And like I catfished as my mom. And people just like remember me for that. Like it lengthened my career. Like a lot better.
Was your mom cool with it?
She loved it.
She loved it.
She didn't let me be clear. She didn't know that I was doing this until they were like, you have to catfish.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, oh, and that's when I said I'll be my mom. And then I was like, oh my God, my mom doesn't have social media, and I have to make a profile about her.
Oh.
And so I called her. I said, Mom, I need 15 pictures of you, no questions asked.
That's funny.
And she was like, you got it, no problem. And like an Easter egg in the show that nobody knows until like I talk about it like in things like this. It's sort of like how you're like, it's a story worth telling, like when you were on our show.
Sure.
Like, this is my story worth telling with that. Is
yeah.
She sent all these pictures. My dad took all of them. She's in the same outfit in every single one. And I'm like, oh my God, they're never going to accept this. But the best part was in the last photo was my mom cooking and the pot's empty and the flame is off. Like in the picture, it's like she just was pretending to cook.
That's funny.
And it makes it on the show.
Oh no.
Like my set, like when they're introing me on the show, it's like, what's up guys, I'm John and I'm pretending to be my mom Carol or whatever.
Yeah.
And they like, it was so funny because like it makes it in the show and everybody was like, oh my God, I see the picture that you're talking about, like with my friends.
That's hilarious.
I couldn't believe it made it to the final edit.
Wow. So how many episodes in a season of The Circle?
It varies season to season depending on what's going on in the game. But ours was 12.
Wow, that's quite a lot.
Episodes.
And are you in every episode?
I was in every one besides 2 because I got eliminated. We're gonna go to the right
Look
here.
at this.
And then
This is beautiful. Look at this park here. You can see Lower Manhattan in the background right there. Woo, baby.
Hoboken is a beautiful, beautiful town. Like, I love living here. Like I've said before, and I'll say it again. Like, being, I guess, like an entertainer at any level from New Jersey, like it's like the Bruce Springsteen effect, I like to call it.
Yes.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's just like a genuine love for like people who put New Jersey on the map a little more.
Sure.
So like, you know, when I'm doing the one-man show in Edinburgh, like I'm practicing it here, and then like I'm doing like when I write things, a lot of them are just based around like New Jersey culture and lore, and like, who knows how far that takes you, but like if you get ingrained into the entertainment culture here, like whether you become like as famous as like, you know, world famous like Bruce Springsteen would be fantastic.
Yeah.
But like even if you just get like that kind of cult fame level and you make your money doing it, and like you have a really nice life, like that's really cool to me too.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Have you gotten like recognized in Hoboken here from the show?
All the time, yeah. I get recognized constantly. I think people like, once they found out like a person from New Jersey was going to do the show, like it becomes like a second nature for them to try to find me.
Oh yeah?
Like I've walked around town and people will be like, oh, like, cause I post myself on my morning walk a lot.
Yeah.
And like people will be like, oh my God, like I look for you on your morning walk, or like I've taken so many drunk pictures I can't even remember.
That's hilarious.
Like it always happens, but like I do love it. Like people always ask if I feel like it's weird when people come up to me and call me Mama Carol instead of like John.
That's funny.
But like I do like kind of like that folklore. Like I do think it's cool that like people recognize me in general. And like if they recognize me as Mama Carol, it's because the TV show that put me on the map, like put me on the map. So like, that's the thing.
Now, do they have any of these like Netflix cons where they have like conventions for people who are on these like Netflix reality shows, like Comic Con or like
Not
90s
really.
Con?
They do some stuff, but like most of it's just like when a new show comes out, they invite anybody who's been on a reality TV show to come to like the premiere and things like that.
Cool.
Like,
so you get invited to some of these things?
Yeah, I definitely get invited to like most of them, if not all of them. The only things like you don't really get invited to is like if like a brand new show comes out, they only want like really the people from that show.
Sure.
Because you want to like get like the publicity in that direction. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes sense.
But Netflix is like really, really good to like, in my opinion, really good to like their reality stars.
Okay.
Like they've been great with me. They keep up with me. Like
even still?
Yeah, and like
what do they do?
We'll like hop on a call every now and again, like email, Zooms, things like that. But like I know, like my favorite thing that's happened is like this woman Ariel, who like is the head of like Netflix Unscripted, or one of the two heads of Netflix Unscripted. She reached out to me recently because she found out I was going to Edinburgh, and they're sending like, you know, some Netflix Unscripted people to go to Edinburgh.
Sure.
So, like, we're gonna meet up there,
that's
and like
awesome.
they're gonna come check out the show, and
that's awesome.
And she knows I want to do like I do stand up, and like I ultimately want to end up doing comedy as my full-time career.
Yeah.
So like, she always keeps up with like, if there are different things going on at Netflix involving comedy, like she'll like keep me in the loop about them. So like that's really like
that's really
awesome.
cool.
You wouldn't expect it, but like they are really cool about it.
Yeah, that is really cool.
Yeah, man.
That's a nice way to kind of keep the momentum going too.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like showing them that you're doing new things, putting yourself out there, doing Edinburgh. Edinburgh is amazing. So what is your one-man show going to be about?
Yeah, so like
I'm assuming it's about you.
Yeah, hopefully it's mostly about me. But really the through story of it is like, it's called My Dad's Advice, because like a lot of my life surrounds around this insane, like all of these things my dad always warned me about as like a kid that were just like so specific to him, like ended up coming true in my life. Like different stories in my life, like just somehow center around like different things my dad always taught me. And the through line basically being from New Jersey, a lot of it relates to like being, you know, my dad's family was, you know, a little mobbed up a little bit.
What, really?
Yeah, a little bit. And like not him personally, but his extended family.
Wow.
And like a lot of those stories, like,
so you're in good hands.
Yeah, exactly. You always knew a guy. You give it a little one of these.
Oh, all right.
But it's like, it's pretty crazy. So like I want the story to be told of like, but it's like, you always hear the story of the...
By the way, I have no idea where we're going.
We're going this way,
okay.
We're fine. You always hear the mob stories of the people who were like involved.
Sure.
But you never hear like the outside looking in of like, you're not involved, but you know what's going on. Like the main character of the mob movie is never like, you know, and like the main character of The Sopranos isn't Artie Bucco because he's just like a friend of the family. Like,
totally.
I want to show like what it's like growing up that way, and like how my dad's experiences ultimately impacted mine and how I ended up where I'm going.
Wow, fascinating.
A lot of storytelling.
That's
like a
cool.
lot of storytelling.
Do you talk about the Netflix stuff at all?
Not really in the one-man show.
Oh, okay.
I wanted to cater more towards like general life.
I think that's the good idea.
Like I wanted it to be like relatable.
Branch out a bit too.
Yeah, like I want to do it because like you mentioned it when you were doing our show. It's like you start doing something, but when you like get into it, like you get an itch to do things you've never done before. Right.
Totally.
And like writing the one-man show has been like a process I've been doing for like a long time, just to like see what it would be like.
Yeah.
And like now that I kind of got, like I've branched out in comedy, I've done a bunch of different things. I was like, you know what? I'm 26. I don't know what I'm doing next, but like I have this written and I'm really excited about it.
You're a baby, dude. You're 26.
Yeah.
Wish I was 26.
I know, but like that's the thing, is like I'm 26. Now's a really good time to try doing different things.
Totally. You got that right.
So
yeah, now's the time to do it.
So that's like the fun of it. And like being friends with people like, you know, like you and like so many people in the industry who are like, I feel like you could find very hit and miss, like making friends in comedy, but like when you do, like the friends are so great.
Yeah.
And like
it's a good community, I will say.
Yeah, and like you learn a lot from that community. Like One thing, like, I remember when we went and did that show in Brooklyn that one time.
Yes.
Like, you were like, stage time is, like, invaluable. Like, get up and do whatever you want.
Yeah.
And, like, you were like, even if you bomb doing new jokes on a show that isn't, like, you know, at the Cellar or something.
Sure.
At least you're getting up and trying the stuff.
Yeah.
And, like, the last, like, I don't know how many months has really been me just, like, I'll do like a good chunk of like setup punchline part of my set. But like the other part of it, and you know that like storytelling is a big aspect of my stand-up because you've seen me perform before.
Yeah, it's
but
so funny.
But like I want to like test those stories out, and a lot of them are going back to like this one-man show.
Yeah.
And the show starts and ends with like the first joke my dad ever told me.
Oh wow.
So it's really like centered around like it really is like my relationship with my father because like my real like I don't know the fans of mine.
Yeah.
That I have so far are really centered around my relationship with my mom.
Sure.
So I want to show them like all sides.
You got a dad too?
Yeah, and he's a good guy. He's a good dad.
Is he still a little connected?
No, thank God. The connections kind of wash away with time.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, but like the story that I will tell you is like when I was in my communion, I'm like 8 years old or something, and like he's got his friends and family coming, and like people are showing up with just like white envelopes and like they're giving you money. You don't know who half these people are sometimes.
Sure, yeah. But everyone's uncle, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So like I have, on my dad's side of the family, I have 4 cousins, all named Charlie. We're gonna go this way. 4 cousins, all named Charlie, and their dad's name is Charlie, but they all have nicknames.
Love it.
It's like Ponch, Sonny, like they all have different nicknames.
Yeah.
And I have not seen these people since my communion, but like this guy comes up and he hands me an envelope, and he shakes my dad's hand and gives him like a hug, and he gives my mom a hug. My mom doesn't know who he is. My mom's like clearly very confused.
Okay.
And he was like, "Oh, you probably don't remember me. I'm your cousin Charlie." Like, and he's like talking or whatever. And my mom's still confused, and he was like, "Yeah, I would have been around a lot more if I hadn't got caught running guns for the Imperials."
Oh my God.
Which the Imperials are the crime family The Sopranos is based off of.
Oh, wow.
So like, these are like people that were just like around in my life. I'm allowed to tell that story, by the way.
Okay, that's good.
I've been given
All
the
right.
grace.
Good.
But
By who?
By Dad.
Okay, good.
But like, that's the thing is like these things have just existed in my day-to-day life for so long that it was like, no, this is Rita's, by the way.
We're outside of Rita's here in Hoboken.
Which is, I guess,
No cash.
I think they're open, maybe.
Yeah, they're open.
Looks like it. We could see. Yeah. But anyway, like that's the thing is like this has been my life.
That's crazy.
And it was just normal to me. And I want to show like other people like what was normal to me might not be normal to you.
I love it.
Let's see if they're open. Yeah, they're open. All right, here we go. Hello. How you doing? Wow. I'm doing ices today. It's good Italian ice.
What do you get here usually?
I usually try to change it up every now and again. Mint chocolate chips are my favorites, but I think today I might go with the root beer because it just sounds really good.
Strawberry lemonade sounds refreshing too.
What do you want?
I might get the strawberry lemonade.
All right. I suggest getting a small because like even though large seems small, like they pack in the amount of ice that's in there.
All right. Are you gonna get any toppings?
No, I do it like just straight with the ice.
Straight with the
I'll
ice.
show you like some other like cool Hoboken spots that are like
Love to see it.
that are like old school Hoboken.
All right.
I'll even take you to my favorite pub. Woo-hoo. We don't have to
Love
get
it.
a drink, but we could just show you what it looks
We
like.
could get a drink though.
It's up to you.
I don't mind.
But yeah, man, my whole life has like been ingrained in like that kind of culture, like The Sopranos being from my hometown.
Yeah.
Like, and I was so like used to this. I was so used to it for so long that like I never thought it was different. And then I went to college and I would tell these stories to my friends, and they were like, "This is crazy."
That's
and
crazy.
so like, that's how I started writing the one-man show. And then I started writing I just started writing like a screenplay that I'm like, I don't even know if anything will happen with it.
Yeah.
But like the whole story through line is about Caldwell.
Can I have a small strawberry lemonade, please?
And then can I do a small root beer, please?
I got this, dude.
No, don't worry. You came and did our
Sure?
podcast.
Are you positive?
Yeah, I'll buy
Dude,
it.
I
Yeah, no
appreciate it.
worries.
Thank you, bud.
You came out here. We're just.
No worries.
So is this straight mango then?
Yeah.
I'm guessing? So you can leave mine back next, but I don't
Just
know what
Swedish?
Yeah, that one's supposed to be Swedish and this one mango romantic.
Throwing things.
Wow, this is exciting.
This is cool, man. I love this idea. Like I haven't even felt like I'm on a podcast the entire time we're doing this. It just
That's
feels
the goal.
like normal.
That's the goal. It's fun. My hair's been all messed up this whole walk.
Dude, my hair's been, it's that weather though.
Yeah.
Long hair guys do poorly right now.
Yeah, we don't
We don't
excel.
thrive in this weather.
No, we don't. And I don't have anything in my hair because I have that
The shoot.
I have a photo shoot after this. Sounds cooler than it is, but
I really got to do that, man. I like when you said that, I was like, oh, I really got to get some new promo photos done.
gotta get it done. Gotta get it done.
Sorry. Thank you. Okay.
I just realized we were going to have to eat this and film at the same time.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
If you got Ralph's, you can handle
Figure it out. Yeah. We did get Ralph's.
I can have first then.
Oh, we've already
Get out of your
ordered.
way, yeah.
No, you can go first. We're still just deciding. Hi.
So who's doing these photos for you?
This guy Lucas Goodman. Do you know the guy?
No.
He does like all my promo photos.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he just reached out. He's like, "You want just more photos?" I was like, "Okay."
I gotta, like, the girl who does mine, she's in, like, Central Jersey, and she's awesome. And she's, like, just, like, a really good photographer, but she does, like, really, like, artsy shoots.
Oh, that's cool.
So, like, she wants to do, like, a 70s one next time.
Oh, that's fun.
I'm like, yeah, this is
Definitely
perfect.
do that.
Let's try it out.
That'd be awesome. Look at that. All right. Thank you very much. Oh.
Thanks.
Thank you. You too. All right.
Thanks. We're gonna go left out of here.
We're gonna go left. Okay.
I'm gonna show you First Street,
All
which
right.
is like,
Let's see this.
get strawberry
go.
lemonade.
Yeah.
Nice.
There you go. Look at that. Boom.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Love
That is
it.
delicious, bro.
I'm telling you.
This is unreal.
I will tell you that Rita's is like it's a chain of New Jersey and like the East Coast, but like
I've never heard of it.
it's so good. When you said you hadn't done it, I was like, it's not like a Hoboken establishment.
Yeah.
But like Chris and I would come up on like a nice day and just get Rita's because it just is so normal to us.
I thought it'd be so much more busy right now because it's such a
Hot
beautiful
as
day
shit.
out.
I do think it's because of like Memorial Day. Still, people are still out of Hoboken right now. They're at the shore. So
Right.
We're working on it. But
Right.
I do love it out here, man. I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Yeah, I could see the appeal.
We're gonna go down this way. I'm gonna show you like my favorite strip of bars. If you're ever in Hoboken on a Saturday, there's a good chance now. There's a good chance you'll catch me on this street.
Okay.
What was it? I think that's the other like mob culture thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to hear more about this stuff?
I want to hear more about the mob culture because
Yeah.
I don't think I'll ever have anyone on the podcast again that can talk about it. Mob culture.
So,
Like you can.
so another big one for me was if you watch The Sopranos and you watch when like people die in The Sopranos, he calls like the Cosarelli Funeral Home. That's my mom's maiden name. Her cousin owns that funeral home in the show.
Oh my gosh.
And like I'm telling you, dude, it was all like just around my
Wow.
life all the time. And like that's why I think like people think nowadays especially like there's a glorification to it that shouldn't happen, which is fair. But also like people tend to think it's more fable than it is fact. And I do think like there's still some people out there left that like really remember growing up, like especially for me, I grew up in like the early 2000s. Like,
Yeah.
And like that was right in the prime of when The Sopranos was really a thing. And like that level of our lives that just like, oh, you knew a guy. It sounds funny, but like you just did. Like our mechanic was a family friend. Like my grandpa always had his like legal gambling even being a thing. Like my grandpa's bookie was at Christmas.
Really?
Yeah, like we had a booth at
Wow.
Monmouth Racetrack next to Joe Pesci.
Wow.
Yeah, it was just like a part of our
Was
lives.
Joe Pesci in the mob?
I don't think Joe Pesci personally was, but he did. Like he had to have known people because like if you go back and you watch like, let's say like Jersey Boys, right? So that's the story of the Four Seasons. They're from Belleville, New Jersey. That's where my mom's from. We're gonna cross and go this way. But so like they're from Belleville, New Jersey. Like I said, where my mom is from. And Joe Pesci's in the musical, like the character.
Yeah.
Because like he grew up at the same time trying to be an actor, but he was gonna like he wanted to get out of town, and
Yeah.
because like town was like the mob.
Yeah.
But that was like that's really how like it worked, and especially Belleville. Like that's where my mom's family is from. Like
Okay.
you'll like again like you'll hear the Sopranos talk about Belleville quite a bit, like Bloomfield, that area where they're from, and, Caldwell, like where I grew up. So that was always like just so normal to us, but this is different. This is my favorite pub in Hoboken, Mulligan's. Best people in the world, best bartenders in the world.
Nice.
Always got games and sports and things going on in there. Any soccer game you ever want to watch, it's on at like 10 in the morning if you want to catch it out. But like it's packed out on a Saturday or Thursday.
That's awesome.
We don't have to go in.
And look, they have like a comedy poster on the wall.
They do.
They have comedy shows here too?
They do.
Anyone good on the lineup?
I
don't recognize anybody, but
I've done a show with Eric before, but that's it.
I
don't know. They have a good comedy club in Jersey City. I forget what it's called, but like, you know Liz Glazer? Mm-hmm. Yeah, Liz has performed out that way. Richie, what's his name? I forget Richie's name. He runs the show. But like, they get some really, Calvin Cato does that club a lot.
Oh, there's like a Stress Factory.
Yeah, the Stress Factory's in New Brunswick.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's out by Rutgers.
Oh, okay.
So, there's like, that's one thing, we've talked about this before. That's something that like like again, being 26 and like not being, I'm barely on the
Where are we
camera
going here?
We could go straight, let's go straight.
Oh, this isn't the whole shop.
Oh, it isn't?
No, it's much wider.
Oh, okay. But that's the thing about like New Jersey we've talked about is like there's very little comedy scene, like especially in Hoboken, which you feel like for a city adjacent to New York City,
right,
should have a comedy scene.
Yeah,
I mean, like,
you would think it would.
I know like I did a show here at a place called Willie McBride's. That was like a monthly show that was really awesome. And it kind of just stopped because Willie's is more of a music venue than it is a comedy venue.
Yeah.
But I did the show with this comedian, Jimmy Palumbo. Super funny guy. Oh, cool. Jimmy's a really nice guy, but he's good friends. He was in the movie Beer League with Artie Lang.
Oh, wow.
And Artie came to the show.
Oh, that's cool.
And like even Artie said the same thing. He was like, I've thought about like for years opening up a comedy club in Hoboken.
It was so fun.
And like that, I think it's like that's something that it's missing. And like being younger, like 26, like you don't really know exactly what you want to do right now.
Right.
So like I don't know, maybe you try to think about like how you take what you do as an entertainer and turn it into a business. But you never really like. It's hard to figure out.
Yeah. So any of these people that you met on this Netflix show, are they still people that you keep in touch with? Like
I'm dating one of them.
You're dating one of them?
Yeah, my girlfriend was on the show with me.
Whoa.
But it's not a dating show.
How did you guys decide this? Wait. But if you're playing someone else, does she even know? Like, wait.
No, she didn't know.
Explain it to me.
Yeah, so
How did it happen?
So she didn't know who I was. She thought I was my mom.
Okay.
And she believed that until we got to the finale. Keep walking. And when I got to the finale, she says this to this day, like, I walked out, I knew who she was because she got eliminated before I did. So
okay.
You reveal who you are when you get eliminated, but if you get eliminated, you don't know the rest of the game. So, like, I knew who she was, and I was like, oh, she's, like, beautiful.
Yeah.
Like, it was, like, first instinct was, like, I would like to go out with that person.
All right.
And I got to the finale, and I'm, like, all hopped up, like, I'm going to meet her. And she was like, I fucking knew you were, you said you were. And she was, like, all pissed off. And I was like, oh man, this is a bad way to meet her,
Yeah,
huh?
that's not good.
So I'm like, all right, well, we're gonna have to like work past this one way or another.
Yeah.
And we get home from filming the show in October 2021. And then in like May, when the show, by the time May came out, May 2022 was when our season of the show came out. Her and I were like, we had gone on a couple dates, but like I didn't think they were, well, let me preface. Anyway,
yeah.
Let me preface by saying that I didn't think they were dates.
Okay.
I thought we were just like hanging out. She's in Westchester, so we would meet in the city.
Okay.
But like we weren't doing anything like, I didn't think we were doing anything like super datey. Like we would just like hang out. She had a job in the city, like we would hang out after.
Yeah.
Like easy stuff for me to do.
That's cool.
And then one day, like we went out and it was in the winter, so this is way before May. But like it was like the end of like the Christmas season. I would say it was like early February. And she was like, we had gone out and we ended up at Bryant Park at a bar, just like pretty smashed. And she was like, so when are you gonna finally make a move?
Wow.
And my girlfriend's a few years older than me, which I know you get.
Yep. How old is she?
She's gonna be 30 this year, I'm 26. So like she's only a couple of years older than me. But like, she just like has that sort of mentality of like, I'm not gonna waste time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And she was like, you know what? I'm not gonna waste any more time. I'll make the call. And I was like, all right. I just didn't think you would want to date somebody younger than you. And we've had like I mean, it's been the best relationship I've ever been in.
Oh, that's
no
awesome.
doubt about it.
And you guys are still together?
Yep.
And it's been a year?
It's been a year. So we call our official anniversary like June 10th.
Okay.
Because like we were like
It's coming up.
Yeah, coming up. We got some things to plan for that. But we were like didn't really officially start dating or telling anybody until after the show finished being released because we didn't want to like have that be the thing people talked about with us. Like we wanted people to know us for us individually.
Did anyone speculate there could be
No.
anyone see you guys in public?
No, nobody like it was never anything that anybody saw and was like, oh my god, because they just like assumed we're all friends. So it was pretty easy.
That makes sense. No, I had my buddy Lance Bass
Yeah.
from NSYNC. He had his
buddy.
assistant on.
So funny enough, Alyssa, my girlfriend, worked for Lance Bass after his assistant went on the show.
What did she do?
She was his assistant again.
Oh, so your girlfriend was Lance's assistant while his assistant was on the circle?
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Yeah. I didn't realize you were buddies with Lance Bass.
Of course.
Oh wait, I did know you were buddies with Lance Bass. You've posted with him before, right? You're a big music guy though.
I like music, yeah.
So like, and I know we kind of cross paths in the same like things that we like. Cause like I know you had seen like, you're gonna throw that out.
Yeah, I'm gonna recycle it.
I know you'd like, I think you posted you saw like Less Than Jake, and like I was Less Than Jake fan.
Oh yeah, my
up.
buddy Jarrett, he's in Bowling for Soup.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, and they tour with Less Than Jake, so I took an 8-year-old to the Bowling for Soup show, but we were in like the little section to ourselves. But yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. Big music guy. I like
Hell
it.
yeah.
I'm a fan.
We've talked about this, I'm a huge Simple Plan guy.
Simple Plan's great.
I know, they're one of my favorites, dude.
I'm going to the When We Were Young festival
Are you
in
really?
October. I cannot wait.
That's gonna be sick.
Oh yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. I hope my wife likes it. I don't think I've taken her to a few punk rock, pop punk, emo, whatever you want to call it, tours before.
Let's go this way.
And let me just say, she's a great sport, you know?
Yeah.
But she does it because it makes me happy.
Fair enough.
Just I love it. It takes me back. I love nostalgia.
Yes.
I love nostalgia and the 2000s pop punk phase.
I know.
Woo, baby.
And there's something about like that sound, like that type of music, like you just don't really get much of anymore.
Yeah, there's some bands like Water Parks.
Sure.
They're out doing it now, but there's a lot of you're right.
Like my buddy's in a band called Belmont, who's like definitely more of like the punk vibe of pop punk. But like they like still that same type of sound where it's like, oh, I remember growing up listening to bands like this.
Oh, I love it.
And like I just love, and similar to what you're saying, like with all these friends that you have in the industry, like when you have those friends, like they start doing really well and like you're doing really well, it's like it's so cool to like be part of that community.
Absolutely, it feels good. Feels really, really good.
Oh, for sure.
And I met a lot of these people through one. Well, I met it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter how I met them, but it's it's fun to be friends with them. It's a good time.
I know, like my buddy Jason and I, like we grew up together, like played soccer from the time we were like 9 years old together.
Yeah.
And like when we were in high school, like we were kind of the kids who, like, what are these guys gonna do? Because nobody knew. And Jay went to school for music. I went to school for journalism. And now here I am like a few years later and I'm a comedian and he's like a very prominent musician and producer. And like when we get together, like it's all like the throwbacks of everything.
Yeah.
But people like from our hometown are like always talk about us, like mention us in things, and like we're not the biggest hometown people.
Sure.
So it's really funny to like see things that we're mentioned in and we'll go back and forth to each other and be like, hey, did you get interviewed for this? Like, nah.
Oh, that's
well, we're
funny.
just in it.
That's funny. That's cool.
So it's like cool, like having grown up with somebody who gets it, you know?
And so how far from Hoboken did you grow up?
I grew up about 25 minutes from Hoboken.
Okay.
Yeah, so like it's an easy drive, easy train ride. But like,
so where are we on Adams Street
go-
and
here, wait, I want to show you, this is a cool one too.
Second.
So they're probably closed, but yeah, they're definitely closed. Lacerdo's is like, more motorcycles. Lacerdo's is like my favorite deli in Hoboken.
Oh yeah?
Like it's like old school Italian. I think you could probably see in there, but like it's dark for now because it's Memorial Day.
Yeah.
But like it is like old school Italian.
Wow.
Like,
They open
I
at
love
6:30 every morning. Yikes.
I know.
That is early.
Homemade everything. Like one of the first things I did, like when I came back from the show, was like shoot a video with them, and like
Oh, that's cool.
they're just the best guys. But like that's the thing, once you get ingrained in like the Hoboken like culture. Like you're just in it. Like the people around town know you. Like you go into places, you just have like that real like air about you where like you're a real part of everything.
That seems cool. It's like the community feel.
It is. Let's go straight and then we'll go right and we're getting back towards the apartment now.
Oh, awesome, man. Awesome.
Tried to time it out the right way for you.
I love it. You did great. Wow.
was saying
Hoboken's
Roger.
nice, man. Hoboken is nice.
It is. I mean, the town itself is awesome. The people are great. And like I said, it's nice to be, you know, and you know this, like when you are part of the entertainment industry and like you do different things, like some people take the leap and go to LA, and like some people are like, you know, you try to make it through like the New York industry and the New York scene. And like, I'm just very grateful to like end up back here when I like at the end of the night if I'm doing shows and like feel like one of one right now. Like you don't know many like Hoboken-based comedians who are going around and doing a bunch of different things.
Right.
It's been really fun to feel a part of that.
That's really cool.
And like hopefully, you know, you keep doing the right things and like similar to you want to pick up a one-man show and maybe it does something, or like you write like scripts and TV shows and hope something happens there. But until then, like just keep enjoying being a part of everything. You know?
Absolutely. That's really cool. I mean, I think now more and more with social media, you don't have to live in New York or LA to make it as a, you know, in entertainment. If you can, because everyone now is just kind of doing their own thing anyways. They're like their own production company, their own brand, they're making their own content. So yeah, I mean, and you're also, honestly, you're like you're pretty much in New York City here anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not that far.
No, you're definitely a part of like, that's the thing, like you're a part of the scene, like you know the people and you hope the people eventually get to know you. But like it's more just like the, like you said, you get to do the hustle from your apartment a little better nowadays.
Yeah.
It's different, but it's fun.
What advice would you give to people who want to be on like a Netflix reality show or just like a reality show in general?
Yeah, number one, never be afraid to apply. Like I know it's not cliche, but like you can't score if you're not playing the game.
Right.
But the other thing is like make sure that when you apply, like you might have the most unique personality or like the most unique story possible, but at the end of the day, like they are casting a show, and they want characters, and they want stories and they want a strategy. Like for us, it's like you're trying to win a game for money in a game you're never going to meet people in, so you have to like emphasize that you're in it to win the money. Like for me, if my audition tape was an honest audition tape, it would be like, I'm here to make sure that like when I leave, I can keep doing stand-up and do like, and have a comedy career, and it would all be like sunshine and rainbows, and the casting producer would be like go kick rocks. Right. My thing was like, I could do anything to win the game. Like you could toss me any curveball and I'll win it. And I think that's why they ended up making me my mom.
All right, yeah.
But like you have to like, you have to make your character bigger than you.
Sure, that makes sense. And it also has to be a character that people will want to watch and invest in, right? Have some kind of like, you know, become attached to someone somehow.
Yes, like be relatable.
That's what I'm looking for.
Be relatable, but it has to be thought out too. Like, if my strategy was just be my mom, they'd be like, well, why? Like my strategy ended up being when they asked me at the end to catfish, I was like, I'm gonna be my mom because my friends everywhere in the world tell me that I'm the most trustworthy person that they know. They'll tell me everything without me even having to ask. I'm very like easy to talk to, and I could get information out of people just by like having that personality quality. But for some reason, when you're a 24 at the time year old man, like people think it's for personal gain, but it's not. Like I just want to know. So like I'm gonna do it behind the facade of my mom because then people will feel more comfortable to tell me everything that they're thinking.
That makes sense.
And it does, and then it ended up working out. Like they loved that strategy, and that's the story.
What would be like the best and worst part about being on a reality show?
Best part is if you've never acted or like you've never filmed something, like if it's really like just your one shot at doing it, you feel like the main character in a movie about your life. That is, and like that's really cool about the actual filming process. The other best part about coming back is the being recognized and being able to go to things you never thought you'd ever go to in your life.
Sure,
like premieres,
red carpets.
Gotcha. Like things like that. And the worst part, not knowing what your actual personality is going to look like until the show comes out. Because there is so much of it that like when it happens, you think this is going to be in the show just like this, and then you watch the edit and it's entirely different.
Right.
Luckily for my character and my like plan, it was never that. Like it was never like negative.
You weren't edited to look bad.
Yeah.
But you could probably. You could have.
Easily. Like that's the thing. Like they could edit words together to make you look bad.
Yeah.
So
that's always why it's always good to never piss off like the producers of a show. I think, right?
Absolutely. That's why like even when they came to New York and they wanted to like hang out and get drinks and stuff, we were like, all right, we're friends. Like they liked me. You know what I mean? Enough to like go hang out.
That's awesome.
So those are the two things, man.
Well, John, where can people find you on social media?
Sure, totally. On Instagram at _John Franklin __. If you just search John Franklin, you'll find me. TikTok is at John Franklin Comedy. YouTube, John Franklin Comedy. All that good stuff. If you want to see where I'm going, if I'm ever on the road doing things like that, johnfranklincomedy.com. And that's it.
When's your Edinburgh show going to be?
Oh, and I'm going out to Scotland. I'm doing the Edinburgh Fringe Festival the first week of August 4th through 12th. So you could go get tickets at edfringefestival.com or on my website, johnfranklincomedy.com.
Do you know what venue you're playing?
I am doing Greenside at Infirmary Square.
Hey, all right, everyone go see John Franklin in Edinburgh, on the road, in Jersey, in Hoboken. Talkie Walkie, we did it.
I loved it. It was a great podcast. I'm so stoked I got to do it. Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, you're welcome. All right, now how do I get back to New York?